I'm with Deepak Sahni, founder of Healthians. It's so nice to have you with us, Deepak.
Pleasure.
Superb. And as a user of Healthian, I'm so excited to be sitting up and personal with you and talking. So I'll have some questions for you.
Go ahead,
And
please.
some rapid fire as well. So, let's have fun. Healthians brought diagnostic to people's doorstep.
Yeah.
And before anyone thought Indians would pay for preventive, that's a deeply patient conviction-led bet.
Yeah.
And you were telling me before we got on, how it got kind of formulated. So
Yeah.
let's hear from you what got you here.
Yeah, so I think I've spent 11 years before starting Healthians in healthcare. Largely realized that people don't want to be sick and they don't want to land into hospitals. But when I used to ask them that, what do you want to do about that? So usually the answer is nothing because the adherence is very low. We have not been taught physical health too much in the schools and everything else. So it's like what the family follows a pattern, the kids are also following it. And largely the lifestyle diseases were mushrooming out. But there was a sort of a nudge in people's head that they need to really take care of their health. Unfortunately, that nudge only comes when you are actually above a sort of a disposable income, right? The moment you have the money, you want to live more, sort of a theory, which I wanted to bring into every person's mind. So we started this cause by saying that we'll save people from landing into hospitals, right? And people were intrigued towards that. How? So then we used to say, if you keep checking yourself preventively, you keep testing yourself in time and early in the age, we'll be able to diagnose a disease much earlier, which will save you from landing to hospitals. Because the day you have a report in hand, you want to do something about it.
Correct.
So, but we had an ostrich kind of approach as well, that don't see the report, something will come out and all that stuff. So we had a lot of hurdles to come out through, but I think people were also, the awareness was also increasing and people were also getting aware about it. So both came hand in hand. Today it has become a possibility wherein I think millions and millions of people, like almost about 15 million people take a test with Healthians, probably without a prescription, choosing a test themselves, right? Which has become a reality now.
Fantastic. I mean, I think you guys have been ahead of your time.
Yeah.
So at IPV, that is our endeavor to kind of showcase, what startup can be. You got into startups when you started your own startup,
Yes.
actually, when we were still not so familiar with it. So
Yeah.
was it challenging? What were your challenges when it started?
I think it was always challenging. So specifically when you create something which is an original idea, it becomes really, really difficult to raise a capital, specifically in India, right? Because everybody wants to know the validation. Somebody is already doing it. Somebody is already doing it in a Western world. Is there a model and stuff like that? And in that industry, when I entered, specifically when Healthians was coming in, people used to say the test has to be, or anything in the healthcare can only be done when it is routed through doctors. And I was the one who was saying, oh, I will go directly to the consumers and I will bypass everything else. But it is not possible. I think probably for about 1 year, we faced about more than 12, 13 rejections of people saying this model won't work, right? But there was a conviction. So somebody got agreed. The 13th guy got agreed for that with a very small amount of capital. And almost at an edge where I thought probably if this time this doesn't happen, maybe I'll have to pivot, right? But it happened and then everything left became a history. But again, it was not like the future rounds were very easy and everything else. There has been times wherein we were left with a 3 months runway or a 4 months runway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But when you are in your business, you have a conviction. You know clearly that you are on a path because you hear what your customers are saying. And when they are saying rightly about it, one day everybody will start realizing it.
Absolutely.
So because it was an original idea, investor understood that very late. But the day they understood, it became very easy.
And rest is history.
Rest is history.
So if not Healthian, like you just said, if the 13th person had not agreed, what would Deepak be doing now?
Sure. So if not Healthians, I think I was always passionate about doing something for people in healthcare. And like today we are talking about longevity as a part. It was actually, if you go 12 years back, it was a longevity angle. The tagline later changed to adding 10 healthy years to every Indian's life, right? So because this was something that we were very, very curious about. So I think somewhat in the healthcare, but a model which might have really involved the whole ecosystem rather than disrupting something. But I always love disruptions for good. And I think that keeps me motivated. So I would have disrupted something else.
So disruption is the key word then.
Yeah.
So, at IPV, we also are disrupting a lot of myths about, startup industry is considered to be a risky business, and most of our startups succeed because of our processes.
Yeah.
So what is that one process you would say got you here?
So I think in healthcare, the major issue is that the major issue is the trust, actually, if you really look at. So your business in healthcare has to have a trust. Before you scale, you have to build a trust. And then building trust while you are scaling is even more difficult. Because then you are in multiple cities, you're expanding like anything, but you might lose on building that trust out. So I think that is the most difficult thing in healthcare, because you can do 99 things right and nobody will praise you. But one thing wrong in healthcare will take your company off. So you have to be 100% time accurate and be correct about things. It's not like a consumer app where you can iterate publicly.
Correct.
You have to be very, very sure before you get to the market.
So, as Deepak, what has been your mantra to your team? For example, trust and transparency is our mantra too.
Yeah.
What is you as a person you've been saying to your team?
I think most of the time when we have built this business, we've been saying one thing very clearly, that this business is meant for patients. So put patients first, right? So the brand ambassador of the whole brand is a last mile guy who goes and meet the patient. And that guy is the sort of a largest team that we have. And we always teach him, train him, and tell him that you are the guy who's building that particular relationship. When you pick the sample, pick it in a way that it's your own family member. And in the lab also we teach that the quality of the lab is defined when you can bring your own family member sample and test it in your own lab. So that is a definition to create that you are fully aware of what you are trying to do at each step, and making them self-responsible for everything that they do in the whole cycle was the sort of a mantra that we have given everyone, and everyone follows that very beautifully.
And I can second it, because as a user of yours, I can say I have had that feeling. So your message has translated to the team.
Pleasure,
Fantastic.
pleasure. Glad to know that.
At Wealthwise, today we'll have a lot of new people who are looking at angel investing to start, to start investing in angel startups and the whole ecosystem. What do you think would be one message you'd like to convey to the team, to the new people?
I think to the new people, I think today's business is not built in the sort of a dashboards or sitting in a room. You have to be really on the ground, because the reality comes from your customers and what is happening on the ground. So a lot of people think that the business could be built sitting probably with the team all the time. But I think as a fresh founder, you need to know the reality of the ground, which is very different sometimes of what it sees to be in the sort of a dashboards. So in my own journey, I've learned a lot from my consumers, my vendors, my own employees, my last mile guys, which I used to spend a lot of time. And almost 90% of my ideas and iterations would have come from there than from my own head. So it is very, very essential to be in the start of the business, to be there and building it that way.
So nice. So you were saying be present.
Be present
there,
on the ground. You have
ground.
to get your hands dirty. That's the only way. Literally.
So some rapid fire for you.
Okay.
Ready? Gut
Deep
or
breath.
data? What closes the deal for you?
I think data first.
Okay.
I think data first.
Most undervalued sector in India right now?
I would say healthcare still.
Okay. That's your sector.
Yeah.
One thing founders never get right about investors.
That they are friends.
Okay. All right. So thank you for your time, Deepak. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed the candid conversation.
Pleasure.
And wishing you all the best for your new project as well.
Thank you so much.